High school has to be the most problematic place you may ever see. Angry teachers, homework, the bathroom. How do you win? This is how to succeed in high school in 2023. With starting out high school or going to a new school, things may feel incredibly intimidating. But there's one thing to remember, especially when you're a freshman, and that is when walking into the cafeteria for the first time, is that not just you, but everyone is as lost as Zorro and has no idea what's going on. So take a deep breath and then absolutely panic as you realize this place that you're currently standing in is going to be where you spend at least the next 4 years of your life. But after you finish your first existential crisis of the day, take in the scenery, the hallways, the teachers, the room numbers of the classes, as you don't want to be that one goofy kid like I was, who while on their program card said go to room 102 for their first period algebra class, for some unholy reason decided that they couldn't read on that day and went to room 104 instead. And after that, take a look around at your grade, as these will be the faces you will most likely see for the next up to 4 years of your life, and will probably be the only time when everyone is viewed as a normal person. So then, with first impressions out of the way, the bell rings and your school adventure begins. 9th grade has to be, I believe, the chillest time you'll have in high school. Since you're straight out of middle school and have no idea what's going on, there's less expected of you. Classes are the easiest they're going to be, and it will be the first and only time when you'll have new experiences every day, for like months straight. Of course, you'll have that overly strict teacher, but every grade has at least one of those. Plus, it'll be the year you go on the most trips. And believe me, trips are more rare than a shiny Spinda. So if you get one, especially if it's during the school day, you'd best know I'd be taking that to get away. Only real thing that some kids think is a bad thing though, is that you're on the bottom, so most likely you won't have access to higher privileges of getting to leave during lunch or playing for varsity, but who cares? First, you're a kid, so have some fun, because things only go downhill from here. And second, there are 3 other things you must get right in 9th grade in order for the rest of your time in school to be as painless as possible. First, and arguably the most important thing you must do in the 9th grade before everything else, is establish a friend group. I like to follow the motto of no enemies, no problems. So if someone says hi to you, say hi to them back, and be nice to everyone, as you'll never know if you'll need their help in the future. There will be many different types of friend groups. Some will form faster than others, but ideally, you just want to be cool with everyone. So not only at the cafeteria table, you could sit without feeling incredibly awkward, but you have perhaps many groups of homies to walk with throughout this adventure. And please, I beg you, don't chase popularity, but instead make quality friendships. As there was this kid we'll call Dean, and back in the 9th grade, I remember he would always follow the popular kids everywhere while they gave him no attention at all. And it became so bad to a point that he became a meme within many other types of friend groups that existed till he transferred at the end of the year. Yeah, don't do this. The next thing you must do is scope out the teachers. You most likely will have most of the teachers you see in the cafeteria or the hallways, so it's best to learn who they are to be better prepared, especially if you happen to run into the overly strict teachers. But besides that, you'll learn some random facts about your teachers, like for instance, one of my 11th grade science teachers was 10 years old at the time of the JFK assassination, and that is a core memory for him. Or you'll see them nearly die of laughter and nearly lose their job in the process as a kid accidentally drops the special word on the microphone during one of our town halls. The types of teachers that you'll have will either make or break not only your school year, but your entire school experience. But arguably, the most important thing for you to remember when you're in 9th grade is just to remember to do your best when it comes to grades. A 92 and 100 is still an A, and if you're not going to a college that requires absolute S-tier grades, then there's no point in overstressing yourself over points lost that are completely out of your control. Don't be scared of any of the end of the year big tests, like the Regents for an example, as you'll be more of enough than prepared once you reach them. And trust me, burnout is real, whether it happens because of the workload that you'll get that we'll cover later, or because you're trying to be completely perfect in everything. It happens. But that was a successful 9th grade year. It's time to go to 10th. 10th grade is when everything becomes second nature to you. You recognize everything, friends, and the types of groups that have already been established, and you'll see some more movement this year, but things stop moving really, as everyone knows who each other are. And with all of this in mind, you'll for sure see these 3 things happen during your sophomore year. The first thing that happens is the emergence of relationships, and let me say this right now, some of y'all are not ready for any relationship, period. Of course, we have the good ones, the kids that actually take the time in becoming friends with that person, seeing if they're compatible, and then getting into a relationship. And these ones could last throughout the entirety of your time in high school. And if you could find somebody who's in good quality, make sure you take them, because a good person is hard to come by. But these are just the best case scenarios and are only the first types of school relationships. The first we got are the Rizlas, the kids who want to be in a relationship but have such terrible riz that everything that can go wrong goes wrong as soon as they approach anyone. Like that one kid who, despite never interacting with this girl he had a crush on in my high school, always gave her chocolates, which she proceeded to toss out in the garbage right in front of him. Yeah, please don't do this. The cringe was immaculate. Then we have the toxic relationships, and it's very hard to watch this type of relationship. The fights, the gaslighting, the torture, only to turn around and see them pretending as if those bad things never happened, and everything is good when it's clearly not. Please make sure you inspect the people you may take a liking to, as you don't know who may be crazy, and you don't want to invite somebody like that in your life so young. Next are the cheaters. One of the biggest scams has to be getting into a relationship with a cheater. As you know, there's always somebody they have waiting to jump for once they get bored of you. And I remember several girls and guys going through partners like a hypebeast does with the latest Jordans. And that often leads to a situation of, well, where the person's personal information gets leaked by that chaotic kid you share class with. And then you're asking, even him too? Stay away from those 3 negative risk types. The next thing you see are the bathrooms. Don't. And I mean, don't go in there. I already have gone over the problems with school bathrooms in a previous video, but I understand when kids say they never use the school bathroom or wait till they get home, because just getting permission to use the bathroom alone is already way too much trouble for what you'll have to witness when you walk into the school bathroom in order to use it in the first place. Vapors, the underground trade, skippers, you could barely even breathe. Yeah, just stay away from there. Now we get to the big 11th grade. And the first thing that you'll see when you get here is that everyone you know seems done with themselves. For many reasons. Everyone understands how the school operates. Friendship groups are pretty much permanent, and you're not a senior, but at the same time, you're not a freshman or a sophomore anymore. You're just there. But the reason why I singled out 11th grade is because it has to be the worst year of high school. All that stress coming from deciding what you're going to be doing after you end up graduating, applying to colleges, internships, the huge amount of tests that you'll have to take are just incredibly taxing to the soul, and 2 other soul-crushing things. The first terrible thing many in the 11th grade will have to face is AP classes, or in other words, the hardest courses you'll ever have to take in school. The amount of writing you'll have to do in these classes will make you feel like you're writing the whole terms of service out every single day. And don't get me started on the Mount Everest levels of paper they call classwork that the teachers give. And what's crazy is that when you ask the teachers why AP classes are so hard, they say it's to prepare you for college. Like, what? What do you mean? I'm in college right now, and the classwork is far less aggressive than what we had in AP classes. And don't get me started on the AP exams or the SAT. Those are another cursed can of worms that will open in time. And then we get to something I was talking about earlier that can't be avoided with how grueling schedules can get, and that is burnout. But it truly takes place in 11th grade, especially when you have 4 regions and 2 AP exams like I did that year. You definitely will begin to stop caring. If you find yourself having such a sinful schedule, make sure you take things slowly and submit exactly what the teachers ask you to submit, and try to be on time at least, because falling behind is like living with your worst nightmare. Do not go above and beyond, or you'll find yourself hating your existence at school far more than you already do now. And if you need help, just use what I use. YouTube can quite literally find everything on here. Thank you, YouTube. And the other thing that crushes the soul once you reach 11th grade is that this is the 3rd and arguably the longest year of school, that you'll be forced to follow some of the weirdest school rules known to mankind. For an example, after reading some of your comments in my video on the stupidest school rules, it's come to my attention that it looks like only my high school implemented a thing called bathroom times, a stupid rule that restricted the usage of bathrooms on every floor except the basement every day, except for 2 90-minute blocks in the beginning and at the end of the day. And there were other rules as well, such as no eating, dress code, and collective punishments that'll just suck the life out of you. But don't let these things turn you into a husk of a person, because remember, this stuff is just temporary, and soon you'll no longer be bounded by these stupid school rules, but instead the stupid rules of being an adult. And don't forget to have some fun and test their limits. 12th grade. What more can be said about this level? The series finale of your time in grade school, the last time you'll see most of the faces you started out with in high school, and arguably the best time in school. There are a few things you'll see in 12th grade, some great like something we'll get to later, or something highly illegal that we'll just get into right now. Fortunately, on the last day of 10th grade, I went to the bathroom from my science class, and while I was walking back to class, I once caught a kid that we'll call Tyler, who was trying to rizz up a couple of freshman 9th graders. The only problem is that Tyler was held back a couple of times, so he was already senior age when he was trying to rizz up those 2 girls. And when I saw this, I said to myself, nah, you're done, and then proceeded to drag him back into the classroom. Some guys, as soon as they turn 18, would just go from Redditor to Predator in an instant. It's just crazy. But something a lot better than that is, you're now on the top. You get to play varsity, you're now in the in crowd within the school, and everything just feels like it's moving so fast. Sometimes you wish that things can just go a bit more slower, like it did back in 9th grade, so you could appreciate things just a bit more. As everything reaches the climax, the best day in high school, graduation. No words could describe the amount of emotions you'll feel during graduation. The anxiety for preparing to get ready beforehand, to the time you forgot something at home, to patiently waiting in line with all the kids you went to school with for the past 4 years. And for the most part, positive and negative memories with them for one last time. Hearing the national anthem, sitting through all the speeches, and then hearing those infamous words, "As principal, I declare all of you as graduates," are a feeling that only could be experienced only a couple times within a lifetime. And as you leave high school, like how you entered it, you have no idea what's going on, but the difference is now you have the friendships and the experiences to take on what's coming next. How has your experience in high school been like? And tell me what you'd like to see next. Consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time in the sanctuary.